Hello, boils and ghouls. You are now tuned in to PVD Horror Podcast. Pleasant screams.
Hey, what's going on? You're now tuned into the PVD Horror Podcast. I'm Brandon, and I'm joined by my co-host Dave. Today, we're going to be doing our monthly recaps, but we're going to be putting everything together from probably since early September, October.
Early September, I would say. That's great. Now, the last time we actually talked about something that had just happened was TerraCon, the first convention in September. So we didn't get to the rest of them and everything else after that. So lots to catch up on right here.
Yeah. But before we get into that, what have you been up to?
Oh, Jesus. It's so right now, first week of December, Thanksgiving just passed.
Yeah.
Getting Christmas decorations up, which is a challenge here because we have a lot. But my yard setup is coming along, and that's, I guess, a decent thing. And other than that, nothing super special, I guess.
How was Halloween?
Okay. So so if you're in the New England area, it was like we had a rainy, windy week leading up to Halloween. So I know from a lot of people who do like setups in their yards and stuff like that, it was a real bummer because that just anything you got set up in your yard was blowing over, or you had to take in. So that sucked. And I bought I bought some animatronics that I was really happy about, and it kind of put a damper on that. But Halloween night, the weather kind of held off. It got a little windy towards the end of the night, but I noticed that since it was a Friday, it was only little kids. And I think it's because a lot of the older teens were going to parties and stuff like that, which good for them. But I had probably 200 and something kids versus the typical 400 that I might get outside of that. So but I had a great time. I enjoyed doing it. I was Michael Myers as always in my front yard. So that's kind of my thing. And I had a giant 12-foot scarecrow addition to the yard, which I enjoyed. And then the day after Halloween was going to Spirit Halloweens and getting all the discounted animatronics. So I enjoyed myself.
There you go. That's what it's all about.
That's right. So Brandon, catch us up on you.
Well, I'll start off at Halloween. What was it? I had gone down to Salem.
Yes.
I had met up with the guys from Guts. You know what I mean? So shout out to Zano and Space Viking. We had a good time. That was actually my first time going down to Salem on Halloween night. So it was a cool experience. It was busy. We had a good time. It was a party. So
it looked like a blast, and it looked like you guys really had a good time together. So that was cool.
Yeah. And I definitely needed that at that moment. So it was good checking in with those guys. And, and that's the thing about the horror community. For us, it doesn't just stay in Rhode Island. It just goes worldwide. You know what I mean? So there's so many people that listen to us over in the UK, Ireland, and everything like that. And just having that bond with other content creators in the States is actually cool, so it was cool being around everybody and, actually seeing some other guys down there too. Shout out to Free Horror. It was cool, you know what I mean? So it's just the experience, and then the community just coming together and just knowing wherever you go, you have someone that you know what I mean? So it was a good time.
Did you know Free Horror was going to be there, or did they know, or did you guys just run into him?
So when I had talked to him last time at what was it? Silver Scream.
Silver Scream, yeah, we ran into him.
And I was telling him, I was like, damn. I'd asked him if he was going down to Salem, and he's like, oh, I always go down. And so I was like, all right, the Guts guys are going to be coming down. If I go down, I'll hit you up. But it was so funny because it was I definitely forgot all about it. But we were near the porta potties, and then he was walking by, and I was like, hey, what's up? So it just kind of all worked out.
Okay.
So it was cool.
Yeah. That I just thought it was funny because I wasn't sure, and I know we had just seen him like a few weeks prior or something at Silver Scream, so
Yeah.
that was cool that you were able to meet up again.
Hmm.
And yeah, I know we always talk about, if you're in the area, avoiding Salem in October is usually a thing, but
Hmm.
you just went head on into the
Yeah.
madness of Salem on Halloween. And I'm just curious, I know we talked about it a little bit already, but like on a scale of 1 to 10 about how chaotic it is, how would you rate it?
It was busy. It was busy. You know what I mean? So like I said, like you said before, like having just the age group of kids, you know what I mean? And I think that's that thing with the teenagers having fun, and it was a weekend, like you said, on a
Yeah.
Friday. I was telling my kids because I was like, "Oh man, like you guys are at the age now where you should just come down here and just have fun with your friends and do all this stuff because, I think once they get to a certain age, trick or treating is just out the window."
Hmm.
So, but I think that's the thing now. I think a lot of people who are back here kind of got into a lot of issues. I know there was a issue in Providence over near the Providence College campus. There was like they did a pop-up party, and people were
Oh,
getting hurt and stuff like that.
jeez.
And a lot of
Yeah.
police were involved. So, I think that, it's time for, certain kids to kind of like just, you know, go down to Salem, just have a good time, and, do things the right way.
Yeah. Yep. Um, so we had our own Halloween party,
No, you did.
which was a very interesting night.
It
So
was.
we did Rock the Dead karaoke, which was our third. Is that our third or fourth?
That's our fourth one.
Fourth time doing it. But this year we collabed with our good friend Nick Paul, aka the
Hmm.
Wicked Pumpkin.
Yeah.
Who, shout out to Nick for, the name he's making for himself as far as like organizing events
Hmm.
and reviewing like local restaurants and, special unique foods at places. And it, from what I'm seeing, he's, people are reaching out to him and like, hey, come and review our food, which is really cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad that he's like taking that initiative and rolling with it because, it's enjoyable to watch his videos and, see him grow like that.
Hmm.
But Nick presented the idea of turning this karaoke party into half karaoke, half drag show,
Hmm.
which we haven't really dabbled in prior. So that was
Yep.
new to us, and it was definitely an interesting and fun night, I would say.
Yeah. It was definitely cool, what I mean, because I had told Nick, we were preparing for this for a while, what I mean, because he had something else going on and then
Mhm.
it didn't go the way he wanted to. And then so, the collaboration happened. And so I just have to sit there and say, working with him has been like a great time, what I mean, because like he was just on point with everything, just,
Yeah,
messaging us, letting us know like, hey,
yeah, yeah,
so it was cool. It was a cool experience. And so for the way the night unfolded, I just have to say it was a great time. We had a good turnout. Everybody had a great time. People are still talking about the event and even our costumes. What I mean, they stood out. Had it come
I
through with the
love it.
Mr. Crockett, and
Yeah, Billy the Puppet from Saw.
yeah,
So I love it. I love that that's turning into like our tradition is coming up with some, some fun costumes and
yeah,
it's, keeping it true to ourselves and like, just doing something crazy horror related. Maybe not everybody's going to get it, but we get it and that's all that matters.
yeah,
So I mean, that's the best part. I love that. The one thing was missing this year, and it was just because it was too damn busy. It couldn't happen. Max from Buttonwoods typically takes, his photos of everybody, and we usually have
yeah.
some nice, like professional looking photos. He couldn't do that this year just because they didn't, it was crazy packed at one
Hmm.
point. Like the bar was like nonstop, people getting drinks and stuff like that. They just could not free him up to be able to do that. So hopefully next year we can figure that out. So people can leave
Yeah,
there with like a nice little like take home photo to remember the night.
yeah, yeah. That whole October, it was a wild ride. We had a screening of the first Halloween,
Shit, I
and
forgot about that.
yeah,
Yeah. That was actually crazy too. Like so many
yeah.
people showed up for that, and I wasn't even sure if I was like, this is a movie everybody's seen 1,000 times. Who knows if
Hmm.
people are going to actually want to, come watch it with us? And people showed up.
Yep. So it was a good time, and we had little pop-up shop of horrors. You know, I mean, it was also another great time. You know, that this is our, what was that, the fifth one?
Yeah, I had the number wrong too. I kept like announcing it as, yeah, I can't remember if it was fourth or fifth, but like I
Yeah, it's
kept
the
saying it was
fifth.
the wrong one, and I forgot about a year. Apparently, 64 vendors. I think we
Yep.
ended with 64 vendors. We had some outdoors, some indoors.
Hmm.
We had shout out to Mystery Soup Escape Rooms in Pawtucket. They came
Yep.
in. They were sponsors for the event. They came in. They built a little escape room in our market, which was very cool. Made it interactive. I think everybody left there saying, "Wow, that was kind of hard, actually."
Yeah. It was cool. We actually ended ours with maybe, I want to say, a minute left on the clock. So it was cool. You know, it was a
That's
cool
awesome.
experience. And for them to, that was their first time doing that, you
Yeah.
know, having a little pop-up one. So definitely, if you're in the local area, definitely stop by their shop and check out what they have to offer. They have how many? What, probably like 7 rooms or something?
Yeah,
6 rooms?
there's a
Yeah.
bunch of different rooms, and it's all different like genres and
Yeah.
themes. And I know Brandon and I, if you guys have seen our reel from a while back, but we did the horror themed one, which I think we loved. I had
Yeah.
such a blast doing that. It was hard, but it was fun and challenge. Like the more challenging, the better, I think, because you don't want it to be too easy. But is it was like the perfect mix of everything. And yeah, and they're great people. I actually really enjoy them. They're just super nice. So
Yeah.
that's been a great like connection that we've been able to make here.
Yeah. And like I said, man, time has been flying by, you know, so that was basically October. Um, and then we got into November and we had a special event. We had Blood
Yeah.
Rage. That was a special event. You know, we had Mark Soper come down.
Ah, man, Mark Soper. He is an interesting dude. I love that guy. He was
Yeah.
like so genuine, so nice, um, quirky, but like
Mm.
just like us. I feel like in like that
Yep.
way that like he was so easy to talk to, and I was able to sit next to him for the screening of Blood Rage.
Hmm.
And he admitted that he hadn't really watched it in a while, I think he had said. And he hadn't watched it in a crowd like this with people since, kind of learning about the following it has.
Yeah.
And I could just tell he was having a great time. He had a smile on his face through the screening. He was laughing at the scenes that everybody else was laughing at. And the Q&A, I absolutely loved that Q&A. I thought it was a lot of fun. Like just everything, the stories he was sharing,
Hmm.
but like he was so mesmerized by the mom's performance. It felt
Yep.
like that was like the first time it really dawned on him how batshit crazy that scene, like those scenes are. And he was just like, yeah, he was loving it. That was a really special night.
Yeah. And it was cool. You know, me before we had the screening, we had, you know, I picked him up and we had gone to a tavern on the square. So
Yeah.
just having dinner with him and, then, you know, being able to talk with him about other things and just his views of what's going on and, you know, also the potential of, you know, doing more events and stuff like that. I think it was a really special night, you know what I mean? Because that was the thing back in 2020, we had him on our podcast
Yeah.
and that was his first podcast ever. And so, you know, being able to kind of keep this rolling and have his first screening of Blood Rage with us, you know, it was something special.
He shared with me a couple of times, like he's only done a couple more since then. And he said
Yeah.
he's always been super selective about what ones he'll go on now because he wants to make sure the people who are asking the questions are actually like asking questions he wants to answer and that are like
Yeah.
intelligent questions.
Yep.
And I just find like it was super flattering the way he was framing it. He's like, after doing your show, I don't want to just do any show. I want to make sure like, it's
Hmm.
more in line with what you guys were asking because you guys asked me good questions. So
Yeah.
I took that as like a huge compliment. And he's a super intelligent dude too. So
Oh
like, that
yeah.
was really nice talking to him. And like talking non-horror most of the night was interesting because,
Yep.
here we are screening Blood Rage and so excited and we're talking life shit with him like an hour
Hmm.
beforehand. So it was really cool.
Yeah. And it was cool, you know. A lot of people came out, they met him, was able to get little photo ops and a signature. Shout out to Jameson and Vicky for that awesome poster that they created. And shout out to Buttonwoods Brewery, you know what I mean? Because, you know, letting us get the space to kind of like have these types of events and, you know, bring something cool to the horror community in Rhode Island. So,
yeah. The only other event that we didn't mention that happened after the last kind of recap thing we did was the craft. The craft.
Oh, yeah.
So in late September, we screened the craft.
Mm.
Another one that I feel like I always have to go in them thinking that nobody's going to show up because I wasn't sure how many people would show up for the craft. Probably our biggest screening of the year.
Yeah, no numbers. No numbers.
No numbers, but probably our biggest screening of the year.
Yeah.
That was a crazy night. That was a crazy, crazy night.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, there was so much going on. You know, it was good to see. Like, that's the thing, you know, putting these events together and having, like you say, you know, not thinking a lot of people are going to come out and stuff like that, but seeing the support from our community and watching us grow and then, you know, having people come out and just have a good time. That's what it's all about, man. And we appreciate everybody that supports us. So,
yeah,
we're going to keep doing this as long as you guys keep coming.
You know, I just was sending out our monthly newsletter, letting people know the events we got coming up in December. And I did a little recap at the end of like last month's events. And I wrote that exact thing. I said, like the Mark Soper thing, like, you know, doing special events like that. We really want to keep doing those. But in order to do those, we need people just to continue to show up. So as long as you guys show up, we will just keep trying to do the best events we can. So, you know, definitely thank you to everybody who came out to all those things and, you know, spent those moments with us. It was crazy. It was chaotic. It was tiring, but it was super fun.
Yeah, we have a few others on, you know, on the back end right now that we're still working on. So definitely stay tuned for the announcement. So,
yep, absolutely. So that was our recap of events. I mean, obviously a lot of other stuff happened. There was cons, the horror cons that, you know, that happened. Rhode Island Comic-Con was at the beginning of November. Which we were able to attend. Actually, I was interested. I never really got to talk to you about. So you had two different experiences while you were there. We walked around it on Friday, and then you went back on Sunday, and you sat with our buddy Angel from That Strange Show, and you know, kind of manned the table with him.
Yeah.
What was that experience like at Rhode Island Comic-Con doing the table? Because I mean, that was a pretty packed event.
Yeah, it was cool. So I had gone back Sunday to help him out because he was going to be alone that day. So they're promoting their new animated cartoon series called Vampire Surf Club. So if you can check online, follow them on Instagram and everything, they have something really special coming out. It's a bunch of, you know, local creators, you know, putting something special together. So it's kind of like, you know, Adventure Time mixed with like Rick and Morty, but it's like it's a cool little story that they have going on. So they have a Kickstarter going on. So at that point in time, like I was just able to help Angel move some merch and kind of like watch him pitch, you know, the ideas and everything to everybody. So it was pretty cool, especially, you know what I mean? I was able to, you know, help out, you know, move some products and, you know, do what I had to do. There was one person that came over and they wanted us to like sign, you know, their comic books and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have nothing to do with that. I'm like, I'm just helping out. And they're like, oh, just please sign it. I'm like,
yeah,
that's not my product. And then, so it was actually cool because I was actually sitting there and then one of the guys came by and he goes, "You're from PVD Horror." And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, what's up? And so he's like, "Oh man, I always used to come to your events and stuff like that, but you know, things got, you know, tied up in life." So that's understandable, you know what I mean? Like we always say, you know, people, you know, sometimes the nights that we do events, it doesn't work for everybody to make it out all the time. But, you know, he said, you know, they still watch our content and follow us on Instagram. So that's what it's all about. So ran into a few buddies, you know, was able to talk for a little bit. So it was cool. Yeah, it wasn't as bad as Friday, but I guess Saturday was really, really busy.
Crazy.
So we didn't go Saturday. We did Friday night and then I went Sunday. So it wasn't bad.
Yeah, the Friday night, I was surprised how many people were there for the opening night. I can only imagine Saturday then. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that was our first time. Like, we didn't necessarily go for the celebrities this time. I think we're kind of at fatigue of like meet and greet at this point. Like September really took a toll. And then, so, there was some cool people there, caught a few glimpses, but
Hmm.
mainly just checking out the merch tables and the vendors and all that stuff. And just, the cosplays is always fun and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think they actually got it down right this year because you can tell the horror selection of guests wasn't as big. And I think that's the point. They saved that for Terracon.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So
Yep.
splitting that up, I think that was the smartest thing. And that was the thing last year. Just think about if they had the Screamcast at Terracon,
Yeah. It
how
would have
much more
been
that would have been. You know what I mean?
totally
If they had
different.
them at Rhode Island Con.
Yep.
Rhode Island
Totally
Comic
different event right there.
Yeah. So I think that they're splitting that up a little bit more and keeping it just a mixture here and there. What do we have? Like Dennis Rodman and everybody
Yeah.
over there. So
Yeah.
it was a special event.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Chevy Chase, I think, was there, and the
Yeah.
whole National Lampoon's cast and stuff like that. So definitely some great guests. So yeah, that was events. Now, Brandon, there's been, it feels like the last couple weeks or so, there's been some decent like film news and stuff like that. So what do you got for us?
Uh, First we have to kick off, with the Scream 7 trailer that had released. Like I said, we're behind, but like we posted up on social media and everything like that. So we're back. Scream 7 is gonna be coming out in February. Are you ready?
I'm as ready as I'll ever be. I'm not at this point. I'm keeping all expectations and hype for me
Mhm.
pretty subdued. I'm gonna just go in pretty neutral.
Yep.
I mean, there's a part of me that is just like sort of glad. I think as it approaches, I'll get more excited because I am like sort of glad that like, hey, we're gonna get Ghostface back again, and
Yeah.
like the mystery behind who it's gonna be, all that stuff. I know some things got leaked. I tried to keep my ears covered for anything spoiler related or people complaining. I really did, and I think a lot of it missed me. So I'm glad of that because I did start to hear some people complaining about too much being shown.
Mm.
Whatever. I don't know any of it. I don't want to know any of it. I want to go in just blind and I just want to enjoy myself because at the end of the day, they're popcorn movies at this point, and
Yeah,
I'm there for that. Yep, that's fine.
exactly. And then today we got the trailer for Ready or Not too. So, did you check that out yet?
I didn't watch the full trailer. I caught
Mm.
glimpses of it, but literally I couldn't scroll without a post about Ready or Not to being posted.
Yep.
It's so that's very cool. And that first movie is a lot of fun. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, you watched it, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, I watched the trailer, so it was pretty cool. What I mean, because that was the whole thing with the idea, like, how are you going to get this rolling again? What's going to happen? And so I think overall, going into the trailer, it was just like, all right, it's basically the same the next day. Like, what I mean, the same night just rolls over, and it's like, what's going to get her to play again? What I mean?
Yeah.
What's going to happen? And I think they executed that really well. And so now I'm curious on, how it's going to unfold, and I'm ready to go check it out.
Yeah. They got Elijah Wood in this one. They
Yeah.
got that guy with the really thick eyebrows from Lost and a ton
Yep.
of other different TV shows. Yeah, so some good casting and stuff like that should be interesting.
Yeah, definitely. So, like I said,
I got one more piece of movie news that came out. I don't know if you caught this, but
mm,
they announced Scarlett Johansson is now attached to Mike Flanagan's Exorcist. That
yeah,
will be coming
Yep.
out next year, I guess.
yeah,
So I think it's so hard to get like excited about this project because it just feels flooded with like negativity in general. But like, I guess that's a good sign.
yeah. I think overall, you bring somebody as big as her into a project like this, it's like, okay, all you can do is sit back and wait and just see what unfolds,
Yeah.
So you're gonna get a lot of people that's gonna complain, and at the end of the day, it is what it is, So
Yeah. I mean, this is going to be a departure from the previous film, so we're not worried about it being like a continuation of something that everybody hated, I guess, right? So
yeah,
I guess that's a positive piece of news there. And
it,
you get somebody who's actually got some, some credibility
mm,
attaching themselves to it. So I guess they have some belief in it. So I guess that says something. I know there's a lot of
yeah,
people who aren't fans of Scarlett Johansson anymore. So I don't know how they're going to feel about it. But I mean, I think it's a good sign.
Yeah, it's hard. I think a lot of actors, once they join that Marvel universe, they get that bad rep, like,
Yeah.
oh, they're just superhero actors
Right.
and stuff now. So we'll see. We'll see what she can do in this project. But
Yeah.
we'll see. She just did the Jurassic Park movie. It wasn't bad. I thought it was a decent movie.
I thought it was better than the previous recent
Yeah.
Jurassic Parks. I definitely have liked it more than like the last two or so.
But that's the thing with the franchise of Jurassic Park. It always seems like each, spin-off, the first two movies are always good. The third one sucks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that continues into this. And then so now with this one, it's a whole new part of the franchise. So this is the first one. So it's decent. I think all the time, by the time that gets to the third one, it's just like it's really weird. So we'll see.
I hope that they bring that guy and his kids back for the next one and they all get eaten.
Yeah, those people are a pain in the ass, man.
I
That's
hated
just
them.
like, why?
The dad at first, I was like, oh, this guy's all right. I hate the boyfriend.
Yeah.
I hate the daughter. The youngest daughter's okay.
The boyfriend.
And then by the end, I was like, I want them all to get eaten. I can't stand any of them. They are they are slowing and hindering everything.
Yeah, it was fucking crazy. But yeah, in other news, we're getting another Paranormal Activity Part 8. James Wan is attached to produce it. So,
Wow.
I don't know. We'll see. Maybe this is something that will kind of be decent because I think the last few kind of like sucked.
You know what's so crazy? I actually forgot all about the last one. I didn't watch it, and I meant to. I like one of those ones that was always on my list. I was like, I got to get to it. And then I just completely forgot it even existed. So I haven't watched the last one, which I thought the last one people kind of liked.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. So I was like, I'm a little bummed that I didn't watch it yet. The one before that, was that the marked ones? Which that one was actually better than some of the previous installments.
I think that was 4, but I think the last few that you're talking about, I know there was one for like Paramount Plus that came out.
Yeah, didn't people like that one or no?
I don't think so.
All right, maybe they didn't. I didn't see it. Like I said, the marked ones was one that I thought people liked, and that was a later one. I don't know. I feel like the issue with them is there definitely needed to be some space between installments, because I think when you pump those out too quickly and close together, they're all the same. At the end of the day, it's all the same bullshit. But they definitely got to switch up the recipe, though. You can't just have like that camera footage rolling and then a book opens and a flame comes up from somewhere and pots and pans. Like, people are not going to sit through that again.
Yeah.
So like they need a new recipe, I guess.
Yep. And coming up this week, this Friday, we're going back to Five Nights at Freddy's Part 2. Also, we just did a special event, so it was pretty cool. We were able to work with Showcase Cinemas to, grant one of our local libraries with a special screening of the second film. So they're going to be going to check that out on Saturday morning. So that was a cool little thing that we put together. So
yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's 2.
What do you think about that?
I mean, I'm down for it. That's it's fun. I became a fan, I guess, of the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise. I just think it's cool. I like that it's like something for the younger generation to like their gateway to horror. I like that a lot. I like that there's so much involved with it. Like, there's a series of books, there's the video games, now there's movies to it. And I just like how much, like, we both work with kids. I like how much they like it. They know all the backstory and stuff like that. And there's actually like some pretty involved backstory with this, with these, with the, the characters and the storyline. I think it's cool. I appreciate it, I guess. So it made me a fan, I guess.
Yeah. And I think, what was it, last time it came out, that was like one of the biggest box office opening weekends or something for a certain grade at PG-13 film or something like that, a horror film. So I think it was cool, like it was cool to get all those kids out of the house and go and do something, you know what I mean? So hopefully they can do that again with this one. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so it's only in theaters this time, versus like the
on Peacock.
So that will be different. And I can only imagine what that's going to do to numbers now that people won't be able to just watch it from home. So
Yeah. We got some cool news about 2 days ago. I mean, there's this project called Portrait of God. And so we're going to have Sam Raimi and Jordan Peele collaborating on the project. What do you think about that?
yeah, I heard about this. I don't
Hmm.
know too much about it, but that sounds like a perfect combination.
Hmm.
So that's interesting. What else do you know about it? Anything at this point?
So yeah, they came out with just it's like off of a short film. So
Okay.
they're gonna sit there and kind of like put that all together. So you can definitely check the short film out. It's now on YouTube, so we'll see what they're able to do with that to kind of like make this something bigger. But it's a religious horror film, so that'll be cool. I think, Jordan Peele kind of getting on that streak, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because that's something different for him right now, So,
absolutely.
and
Uh,
Sam, I think Sam's worked on some, but I think collaborating with someone else as Jordan Peele, I think that'll be pretty cool.
yeah. There's also, and I don't know any specific details about this film, but did you see the teaser poster for Mother Mary, starring Anne Hathaway, which will be an A24 film?
Oh no, I didn't even check that out.
I just saw the poster work for it. It looked interesting from the poster. I thought I mean, it definitely looks like it has some religious aspects, but I was just
Mm,
reading the premise and it looks like it's like a psychological horror about like a pop singer. Um, I don't know exactly too much more about it, but I know Hunter Schafer is going to be in it. Directed by David Lowery. So also looks cool. It's A24, so we know like obviously there's some level of expectation there with that as well. So
mm.
that'll be something else to keep an eye out for in 2026.
Yeah, and definitely mark your calendars. Go to the theaters and support Silent Night, Deadly Night, the reboot, remake, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be in theaters December 12th. Shout out to Cineverse, Bloody Disgust, and everybody that's, involved in this project. I think everybody will enjoy it. Why not? Go see a horror Christmas movie on the big screen.
Hell yeah. Cineverse putting their name on a lot of films lately. I'm
Oh
liking
yeah.
that. The new Silent Hill,
Yep. Yeah, I was
Cineverse
surprised
is
on that.
attached to that. Yeah, I
Yeah,
was
I was
really
surprised.
shocked. Yep. So
So,
that'll be interesting. Some mixed reviews on the trailer from what I understand, but it's a Silent Hill film, so I know it comes with its own like really passionate audience. So you
mm,
can kind of almost assume there's going to be some back and forth discussions about it when you have such like an involved fan base. But
yep.
I don't know. Are you a fan of Silent Hill? I'm not really super like knowledgeable about it, so I didn't really
I
have much to
think
say about it.
I think overall, so when Silent Hill came out, for me, it seemed more like a ripoff of Resident Evil at first. That's the way I had taken it when I was younger, when the game first came out. And so it didn't hit the same for me when I had gotten into the games because just playing the Resident Evil games, it was fun. Silent Hill was kind of like slow paced, and then like you had the monsters, and it wasn't the same. But I think as the years have gone by, I appreciate that series. And so it was, with them making the remake to those games, it's something special. You know what I mean? I think it was like, you have that core audience, fans that
Yeah.
enjoy that type of slow burn horror. I think that's the main thing. I think Resident Evil was always like full action packed, and then Silent Hill was like a slow burn.
Yeah.
And so I think overall now, I'm a fan of the series, but the movies overall, they didn't hit the same, but that's the same thing with Resident Evil. Their
Yeah.
movies really didn't do well either. They weren't
Right.
because you're going into a project, you having over 20 hours of gameplay and great story already. And then now you're sitting there shrinking that down to maybe an hour and 45-minute film,
Yeah.
and you're missing so many key elements because there's
Right.
only so much you can fit into it. So I think that's been the main issue with, some of those films. And I think it's the same thing that, why people can't stand certain novels that are turned into films because there's only
Yeah.
so much you can do with it. So hopefully
Absolutely.
from this trailer that I had seen, I'm like, okay, this is going off of the second game. So we'll see what they can do. So we'll see.
I got a question for you.
Yep.
Think about this. I want you to visualize something.
Visualize.
Put yourself in one of the conventions, right? Any of them
Yeah.
or all of them.
hmm
Think about all the cosplays you see.
Yeah, it's Silent Hill.
Is Silent Hill the most cosplayed like thing? Horror
I s-
related, I would say.
I see it a lot. I see it a lot. You know what I mean? You have the
Pyramid guy.
yeah, the pyramid with the big sword. Even when I was down at San Diego Comic Con, New York Comic Con, like that is a big hit. That's a
That
big hit.
that nurse one with like
Yeah.
or whatever they are with the gauze all over them,
Yeah.
the shiny faces. Yeah.
Yeah. Now
I
that you point that out, it's everywhere.
it always stuck with me. I'm like, I feel like I'm missing the boat on something really important or something that like connects with a ton of people. It's weird, but I appreciate it. That's cool. I
Yeah.
think actually that and Art the Clown are probably the two things you see the most of nowadays. So
Yeah. And if you have the original like PlayStation 2 games of like Silent Hill, like those games are worth money. You know what I
are
mean? Yeah, just a copy of like the second one and the first one probably go for like 150 just for one copy. You need it to be complete though. You need
Yeah.
the case, the game, and the instructions. So yeah, it's crazy and
Yeah.
it's funny you just brought up Art the Clown. Uh if you're a big wrestling fan, you know, Rhea Ripley was just in the news for, they had their event called War Games Survivor Series. She came out with a outfit themed like Art the Clown. You know, she had like the mask and everything. She had the contacts in her eyes. So it was cool. She had the internet going crazy. You know, I mean, that was something that was also special when we had gone down to Silver Screams because she was also at that event.
Yeah.
And so she was down to, I think she was down to meet with Damien and everybody because there was talks of her being in the new film, because she loves the franchise. And so I think that was definitely, something that we're going to see on the big screen. We're going to see Rhea Ripley. They had special merch too. I think it was at Hot Topic. They had a collaboration deal with that. And then now they're also selling that shirt on the WWE shop. So, it's definitely taken Terrifier to more of a mainstream level now with wrestling.
It's wild the how it's elevated all of it. And when you went to the concert to see Ice Nine Kills, obviously, they had Art the Clown come out and she came out, and there's this really like awesome scene where she gets killed, and you had pretty like amazing, like a pretty amazing view of it that you were able to get footage of, and like I think our video of that got reposted so many times because it was like you were like just like in the perfect spot for it. You got it like head on, so that was cool.
Yeah, she's like the biggest wrestler in the world right now. And so, it's pretty cool to kind of like see the worlds collide because that was the thing, I think horror and wrestling always go hand in hand and people really don't really like notice that because like that's the thing, most wrestlers are like huge horror fans. And so once it's put out there mainstream, like, hey, I'm a horror head, it takes to another, it's another level. So knowing that she's a big horror fan and she's the biggest wrestler of all time, that brings more eyes to the community.
I'm gonna say like horror is just kind of infiltrating everything.
Yeah.
Video games, the adult industry, as I pointed out in our episode with Little Puck recently. Like it's coming into it's just getting accepted everywhere, and people are just being more like outspoken about their love for it. So that's really awesome.
And it's cool. Like, her name represents Ripley from, Alien. So
I didn't even know that. That's cool.
yeah. So, putting that together. And so it's special, and I think it's pretty cool because like we always say, growing up for us, we never had people to talk about these films with. You know what I mean? We always felt like we were the only one, we were the strange ones. And then now it's like, you don't like horror? You're crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah. So that's been a
that was a really cool moment. I wasn't super familiar with her, so and everyone was going nuts. I was like, oh, that's cool. But then I like saw how nuts people were going. I was like, oh no, this is a big deal actually.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
people were going like, nuts about her being there, and she was getting a tattoo, I think, when we were there.
Yep. Yeah.
That was
So it was
wild.
cool. Yeah. So let's get into some TV series. You know what I mean? Because when it comes down to it, like we always talk about it, like we're really not
Yeah.
tuned
Okay.
in,
Yeah.
but there's been a few shows that I've been locked in on,
Okay.
and I think the first one is Welcome to Derry.
Yep.
And so we talked about this
Yep.
before, like off air,
Mhm.
like when the first two episodes had come out. What do you think now? Are you caught up?
Nope, not even close.
No?
No, I haven't had the chance to. I'm
Yeah.
still 1.5 episodes in.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, unfortunately though, it is again, it's another one of those things that's everywhere on my feeds. So I get
Yeah.
like the updates of like I notice there's been a lot of coverage of this show from
Hmm.
different websites and like film sites talking about what's coming up in the future week, which is interesting. And I don't remember that always being the case with other shows. So
Yeah.
obviously this show is like, I know it's like it's popular and like it's getting recognized not just by like the horror pages, which I think
Mhm.
is cool. I did just read something, and I don't know if you saw this, but like we're gonna get some Pennywise backstory.
Yeah. Yep. We had gotten that in
It
this
already
last,
happened. Okay.
yeah, in this last episode, episode 6. And so that's the thing, for me, I'm usually not a person that can lock in on shows. Usually I let the show end. But, I think overall, right now, I'm back, kind of getting back to my normal self. You know what I mean? And I've been back in the gym, so, I go and I run, I do what I have to do, my workouts, and then, I end off my workout with like an hour walk, and I'll lock into one of the
I
shows.
can't do it. I cannot exercise and watch a show. I
Mm.
tried that. I tried watching something while I was like on the treadmill walking, and I just can't do it. I can't focus.
That's the thing. I do my main workouts first, get
Yeah.
that all set, and I take my cool down walk and I watch the show. So
Yeah.
maybe go
I'll have to
into
try it
that.
again. Yeah,
You
I'll have
have
to
to do
try that
that.
again.
Like get your workout done, get your main thing done, and
Yeah.
then just say, okay, fine. Like I can dedicate this hour walk to this show. And that's help for me because
Yeah.
that's the thing. It's like for me, like watching a TV show on my TV or on my phone, get distracted, man, and you can't lock in.
Hmm.
And so I found like that helps for me. So, but
So
yeah,
you're really enjoying the show then, you would
I
say.
am. It's pretty cool. And that's the thing, I was able to see so much, from New York Comic Con and San Diego. So everything that I was able to see and from the panels, I was looking forward to the show because everything they had put on the screen for us, it was like, okay, like I'm locked in. I want to check this out. I think that the kids that they have locked into this season is something special. They're good actors, and there's gonna be episodes that's just gonna like, what the fuck just happened? Like, and I
Yep.
think that's the thing. Like, each episode is starting to end that way. Um, I think maybe the first episode and the second episode, some people got a little bored with it, but then it started to kick off again. But overall, it's entertaining. It's keeping me locked in, and I think it's cool. You know what I mean? Like you said, the backstory of Pennywise. We're getting something different. They're in the '60s in this one, so um, just getting a different view of what we see all the time from the regular book. Like, you know what I mean? Those two movies.
I've
So,
always wanted backstory on Pennywise. He's like the one horror character that I've always wanted that so bad, and you don't really get it. You got like
mm,
glimpses of him in the past in like photos, and that would come
yeah.
to life in the movies and stuff. But like I
Hmm.
always wanted to know a little bit more about him, so I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah, episode 6 gives you that. So if you're not caught up, definitely lock in. Episode 6 gives you that little backstory. So I think
Awesome.
next week we'll get a little bit more. But that's the thing. It was like, I think main fans, you know what I mean? Because he wasn't on the screen as much. And I think the first episode that you see him as Pennywise was episode 5.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I think that was a thing for a lot of people was saying, oh, it starts off like he's not there, like
Yeah.
you know. So
And I think they recognize that too, because I noticed that leading up to that episode where he had more FaceTime, they
mhm.
were actually advertising like, oh, Pennywise, a glimpse of
Yeah, they had
Pennywise in
to.
next week's episode. So I think they were trying to keep people engaged. I figured that
Yeah.
was the case because like I've never seen that before where there's like,
Hmm.
all these headlines about the future episode like that.
And I think it's cool, just the way they're doing everything and putting stuff together, taking other characters from Stephen King's universe and putting them into this,
Yeah.
like from The Shining and everything like that. It's giving. I had, I've been watching like some of my friends on my personal Instagram, watching like their stories on Instagram and stuff like that, how they're putting it together, and they're like, oh, wait a minute, I'm so locked into this story. I'm actually gonna go back and watch other films and that I've never watched before. So I was like, oh, okay. So like people didn't see like Doctor Sleep or The Shining and stuff like that. And
So they're
so it's
connecting in like the Stephen King universe. They're connecting things a little bit.
yeah, so I said so
That's
you watched the
awesome.
first episode, so
Yeah.
Dick Hallorann, that's the guy from The Shining.
I didn't even put that together in the episode.
Yeah, so that's him, and so he's using his powers from The Shining in this series, and there's other people
Cool.
that's locked in
That's the aspect that I loved about Stephen King, not Castle Rock season
Castle.
two.
Yeah,
I love that they utilized characters within the universe, and there was like these little nods to things. So that's actually really exciting and cool. I like that.
yeah. So I think that's the what it comes down to. I think real fans of Stephen King's work, his films, and his books, they're able to enjoy that, to
Yeah,
kind of sit there and say, okay, this is pretty cool.
that's
So
awesome.
overall, catch up if you haven't been watching it. It's definitely worth it. The next show was Alien. I mean, like I that's another show that, I've been watching too. I let that complete. I let that end,
Hmm.
and then now I'm binge watching it. So it's like I
Yeah,
think I have like one more episode left,
nice.
but it's been getting good feedback. They locked in for another season already, so
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
I didn't watch it. I was waiting for it to finish. I'm gonna get into that at some point. So you enjoy it though, you would say?
Yeah, it
That's
was pretty
all
good.
right. Yeah. I wasn't hearing a ton of people talk about it. So that
Mm.
was like making me a little nervous about it, but seeing it get renewed. And then I did see it, a few people that I trust post about it. And I'm like, all right, that's a good sign right there. So
Yeah,
yeah.
it's pretty decent, when it first like everything that they put into it, for the production. And so, I'm on board for the rest of what they got going
Mhm.
on. So, and then we have Stranger Things season 5. Did you complete the first 4 episodes?
Yeah, yeah. No, I didn't watch any of this yet. I didn't
Oh
get to
no.
it, but I'm caught up to it. So at some point I'm gonna start it. This, this is interesting because like it's everywhere right now. So it's like I feel pressure. I gotta watch this sooner than later. So I like because
Yeah.
if I don't, I know I'm gonna hear everything about it. So it's one of those shows that if you don't watch it within a certain time frame, you're gonna probably hear about how it ends.
But it's not
So
bad though because they split it up. So I think like the next 4 episodes that we'll get is going to be on Christmas Day.
mhm.
And then because they split it up in volumes. So it's volume 1, 2, and 3. And
Okay.
volume 3 comes out, I want to say New Year's. And also the last episode or whatever, I guess it's going to have like a 2 hour long runtime.
Oh,
And it's going to be in certain theaters. So,
that's cool. That's a nice way to end things. And that's another one like, kind of like Five Nights at Freddy's. It's just like
mm,
a great gateway horror that, translates to any generation. I feel like like, older people, younger people all seem to connect with it. Um, their promotion is always stellar.
yeah.
Like they do so many collabs, it's insane. The shoes that from Nike and Converse that you had kind of
Yeah.
showed. I got the Demigorgon cereal recently. They got
Yeah.
like, what do they have? Is it McDonald's or Burger King? It's Burger King, right? They got the collab over there, I think.
Yeah. Kentucky Fried Chicken, so they
Yeah.
have like a waffle chicken sandwich or something like that. Like, you know what I mean?
It's
It's
just
crazy.
it's literally everything that they can get
Target,
into. Yeah. So I mean,
Target.
it's genius though, because like, why not when you're at that level? Why not just put yourself everywhere if you can?
Yeah,
So
it's a lot of that's the thing. It's I think the main piece of everything is people complaining that, it taken so long for these things to kind of get where they are that the kids look so old now. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah,
So it's just like,
they're like full adults.
but overall, I think it works out because they all mastered their acting skills now. And
Yeah,
so like this season right here, like these first four episodes, that you can see like so much work that they put into their craft. And Klep, he had an episode that he had on his podcast and he was talking about the evolution of Dustin, like the character development of Dustin in this season is so big and it definitely stands out. Like this season is on him. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And so watching that kid from when he came in, when he was younger to where he is now, and just seeing them all, you know, even
yeah,
Will's
yeah,
character also is, you know, something special in this season too, because he would always just be the quiet kid because something was going on. But
or he's in a coma for a whole season or whatever.
yeah, they call him Zombie Boy,
Yeah,
and so it's like, all right, like they're putting the pieces together for this season, and overall, they're swinging for the fence, they're hitting, they're taking chances, they're not holding back.
yeah.
So,
So
so
is there gonna be like a song that we're never gonna stop hearing for a whole year from the
uh,
season, you think?
I don't know. They in the first episode they play like Diana Ross upside down,
Yeah.
but it doesn't really
It's not the
go anything.
same
It's
as
not, it's
that
not
Kate
anything crazy,
Bush.
but the
Yeah.
Kate Bush still plays in a certain way. Like it's
Yeah.
still there because Max is still in the coma and they still have that song playing. So overall, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe volume two will get something special because that's the main thing. I think that was the main portal of everything is the song, the music
Yeah.
to kind of keep things going. So I don't know if
Yeah.
they'll maybe switch the song up to try to help Max,
Right. Right.
but it definitely show like it's cool. Like there's an episode with Max, and it shows like how things were like kind of missed with her, like why she's still in the coma. And
Gotcha.
so I think that was it was pretty cool. And I think that the brothers that created this project, I mean they're doing their thing, So looking forward to everything.
It's got to be like one of the biggest shows of the decade,
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah,
Like
it's so
when what
great.
was the first year that it came out? Do you know?
Was it '09 or something? Or
Yeah.
to that
Something.
extent?
Yeah. So it's been more than a decade then. But
I
I
think
mean,
so.
yeah, that's wild.
Because it's so crazy. Like, because even there's like a new kid. I'm not sure if you've seen like the trailers or everything. Like, there's this big husky kid, and he's like, "Suck my fat one," and it's
Oh
so
my
like,
God.
so he plays like this role in the season where it's just like he starts off as like a prick, but then you love him. So he's like one of the new guys, and then I guess he was talking. They had an interview with him, and they were saying like, "How old were you when this show first came out?" And he was saying I was like 4 years old, and he was just talking about how like Millie Bobby Brown and all the kids,
Yeah.
were talking to him saying, "Hey, like we were your age when we started this off, so if you need any
Right.
help or any pointers and everything like that, like we got you." And it's so crazy too. It's like he just announced the other day that he's going to be doing his first convention. So definitely look for
Wow.
his name's Derek. So when
Okay.
you watch the show, he'll stand out to you.
Season one was 2016.
Was this
So
16?
so 9 years ago.
Yeah, okay.
But that I mean, literally like going on a decade of these characters. That's pretty wild.
Yeah. I
That's
don't know why I
awesome.
said 2010, 2000. It seemed like it. I don't know because I
Honestly,
think
it
that's
feels
we
like
were
it's been
waiting
on
for so long.
it feels like it's been on forever. Like on
Yeah.
it does. But yeah, I mean, I'm actually shocked. 2016 doesn't really feel that long ago when I say it
Yeah.
out loud. I definitely would have assumed it was years prior to that, but still 10 years is going on 10 years is wild.
Yeah.
Good for them.
So catch up. So we gotta go see it. We gotta go see the last
in the
episode on the
theater.
big screen.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Um, so we got a ton of films that we could cover.
Hmm.
But let's just hit up maybe a couple that are notable for people, if that's cool. Because
Yeah,
I
I
think
think that'd be
that
good.
we definitely, over those months there's been a lot of releases. But let's
Hmm.
I don't know how you want to do this. You want to do like our two most notable or something like that, or what?
Yeah, or one that you enjoyed and one that was a letdown.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. So, hmm. I have a letdown one, but it's like kind of older.
Okay.
So I finally got to, because it came on Netflix a few weeks ago. I finally got to I know what you did last summer. So like obviously I know that's like an early, but it just got, I mean, hey, Brandon, not everybody makes it to the theater all the time. Sometimes we wait for those releases at home.
Yeah.
That was a letdown.
Yeah.
Did not care for that
Nope.
at all. Wondered if I would have enjoyed it more at the theater, but still recognized that I probably just didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was definitely a letdown. I don't remember if we talked weapons since our last
No.
recap.
No, we haven't talked about it yet.
Okay. That was definitely for me a positive one that
Mm.
I enjoyed. Oh, I got one. Frankenstein.
Okay.
Did you watch it?
I've watched bits and pieces. I have to sit there and finish it up. Did you
Okay.
enjoy that?
I enjoyed the hell out of it.
Yeah.
And for various reasons, so for me, I've
Hmm.
read Frankenstein a number of times. I enjoy that book, but also there's like certain themes in there that Guillermo del Toro definitely understood. For me,
Hmm.
that book is about like abandonment, neglect, like that parent to father, like parent to son kind of relationship, or it could be any kind of like parent to child, like abandonment. And he captured that pretty well in that. Like you could definitely see that and that like want for acceptance and that he doesn't, that the creature doesn't get. I thought he captured it, but the movie's freaking beautiful. I wish I
Yeah.
saw it in the theater. Still watched it at home. Looked great. It's a little long. That's the only thing that
Hmm.
I could have done with a little shorter. I heard people say like how Mia Goth was so underutilized, but she's not the character. So like
Yeah.
the characters exist. I mean, he does add like a little bit of a love story to it, which I don't know if that was necessary, but it gave her character a little bit more purpose. Um, I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I had like pretty much zero complaints about it.
Yeah. Well, you already know the deal of why she was underutilized because it's like people see her on the main screen now at with with the films that she's been doing.
Yeah.
And so now when you don't see her on the screen as much, it's just like, oh, that
Yeah.
happens. It's like a
Right.
character takes on a role knowing that this is what it is. Like you're not the main character in this story.
Right.
So it is what it
The
is.
the two actors is Oscar Isaac and I forget
Hmm.
the guy who played the creature's name, but he's in Saltburn. They were phenomenal.
Yeah.
Oscar Isaac's actually like such an underrated actor. He did phenomenal.
Mm.
So yeah, that was definitely a highlight. And another low light, Conjuring Last Rites. Finally watched that because it was released on streaming on Netflix, I think it was.
Yep.
Um, snooze fest.
Snooze fest. It wasn't bad watching it in IMAX. So I think
That I could
overall,
see. That I could see.
yeah, but was it like great? No. It was
That's so what happened there is what I'm saying needs to not happen in Paranormal Activity. Spinning
yeah.
chairs, like just doing these random effects. It's
Hmm.
not doing it anymore. We've seen it 1,000 times. You need something scary.
So
Yeah, Brandon.
so you touched on weapons. So did you enjoy weapons?
I fucking love weapons.
Mm.
and I know all everybody's takes on it at this point because I've heard enough people give me their rationale behind it.
Yeah.
Personally, fucking loved it. I was here for it. I liked the storytelling.
Mm.
Yeah.
Now are you ready for the prequel?
Yeah. Yeah.
You ready for that?
I think I am. Want to see. I want to see all of it. Yeah.
I want to see all of it.
Yeah.
See that's the thing. I enjoyed the movie, but it was just like that's the piece that I always run into where it was just like why didn't you show us more of the kids? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? And I understand, like, you know what I mean? You have to try to play it safe at certain times, but you have the full project running around, kids going missing, and you didn't utilize it. But then the last scene, like, yeah, it was cool, but you know, I mean, I wanted to see, you know, her feeding off the kids, getting their energy, her becoming younger and doing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wanted to see more of that. But overall, it was a great movie, but I think the runtime was a little bit too long. There was certain chapters that could have been cleaned up a little bit more. I think there was I think we talked about it before, but maybe the crackhead scene and
The cop. They
the
did a lot
cop
on the cop
scene.
too. Yeah. Yeah.
And so that was the piece for me where it could have been like those could have been like one chapter.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yep. I agree.
But
Yep.
so overall, yeah, it was a good movie though.
Yeah.
A letdown. Keeper. Keeper.
Oh, yes.
Terrible.
Osgood Perkins. Yep.
Terrible.
Yeah.
But that was the thing. I think overall, I think that's the thing that Keeper and him run into because you have two big names added to these projects. Osgood Perkins did not write this movie, he just directed it. Him, Jordan Peele, is just the producer.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so I think that was the main piece with those two films where it was just like the expectation was so much higher because their names were on it. So after watching them and everything, you're like, all right, like they were visual projects that look really good, but the stories just didn't deliver to what they needed to.
Yeah.
So for Keeper, I think I gave that like a 2.5, 2.5 out of 5. Him, I think I gave that like a 3. It was like visuals and everything was great.
Yeah.
Marlon Wayans did a great job, but it loses you. The story's not it's not there. It loses the pace of everything. But overall, like I said, I think what it comes down to when your name is applied to something, let it be known that this is just under your production. You know,
Right. Right.
because the expectations were too high for those films.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. Like when you're advertising, you want to draw attention to the thing that's going to catch people's attention. But at the same time, at what cost? Right.
Yeah.
So you get a bunch of people in the theater, but then they trash your film because they were expecting fucking like Nope, or
Yeah.
something. So yeah, that's a big problem. And whose fault for that problem it is, I don't know. But it's something that I feel should be considered. But obviously, at the end of the day, they just want to sell tickets.
Yeah, and it's the company's fault because it's like, they want to sell it. They're saying, okay, this is under your label. This is what it's going to be. It's the same thing if it was like an album, like a collaboration album or something like that. Like when you put something out, they're like, from the creators that gave you this, like, you know what I mean? Because it's gonna catch your ear,
Yeah.
and you're going into it like, all right, cool. And so that's what happens.
Yeah. It's unfortunate because now people will lump him in with the rest of Jordan Peele's films when they talk about his films.
Oh yeah, definitely will.
So that's the downside to it. Osgood Perkins, I mean, he is still the director, so I feel like that's a more prominent role than just producer of a film or something. So I don't know. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Hopefully him will be on streaming pretty soon, and maybe I will check it out. Yeah. So we will do our best to not let 3 to 4 months pass before our next recap. We say that and then it happens, but no, we can definitely do our best to try that and see how that plays out for us.
We just had a busy few months. It's been crazy, hectic.
Absolutely.
So this is our downtime right here.
Exactly. But this month, Jack Frost screening, the 96 Jack Frost, December 19th at Buttonwoods Brewery. And then we got our holiday market, Bloody Winter Wonderland Part 2 on Sunday, December 14th from 12 to 6:30, also at Buttonwoods Brewery, but not in the actual brewery. It'll be in the mill building attached to it. We're looking at 40-something vendors. It's going to be a good time. Get all your holiday shopping done. Yeah, we'll see you there.
Christmas shopping will never be the same.
All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you soon. Have a good night.
Take it easy.
See you later.
Game over.